Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Elizabeth De Sevo, writer, communications, and business development professional. And she has managed the careers of Olympic figure skaters and produced live sporting events and business events throughout the world. And the sudden passing of her mother has taught her that life is a series of moments and that we get to choose how to live them. And she has discussed all this in her book, Choose Your Moments. Welcome to the show, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here.
You are welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form, Elizabeth. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about choose your moments and how people, after choosing their moments, can change their life. We'll talk about all this. But before, let's understand a bit about you, your journey, your background, so that people know who they are listening to.
Well, I'm joining you from Madrid, Spain. That is where I live now. You can tell from my English that I'm American. So I moved to Spain about 14 years ago. So yes, my professional background, I graduated with a psychology degree, but went into athlete representation. I worked with Olympic figure skaters for many years before moving to Spain and completely changing my life. Going back to our conversation about choice, I chose to change my life and move to Spain, start a new career. And then along this wonderful life journey, unfortunately, I lost my mother, which eventually turned me into an author. I wrote the book Choose Your Moments, capital MOM for mom, how the sudden loss of my mother taught me how to live, inspiration for everyday life.
Absolutely. Inspiration for everyday life. But tell us a bit more about moments, our life moments. What is it that you want to convey? Obviously, the book is about also your mom, but it has a big meaning beyond, beyond the thing a general person will understand. So, what does,
Exactly.
yeah, so I want to
Yes,
understand
there's a
not only
huge
about your
meaning.
mom and the huge
A
meaning for the,
huge meaning behind. I'm trying to redefine the word. So,
absolutely.
what the book takes the reader through a 24-hour period of when I am home in the U.S. visiting for Christmas, and my mom dies suddenly. And I learned that life is a series of moments, and we get to choose how to live them. So, and now I'm calling them moments, capital MOM, in honor of my mom. Because what happened is I immediately started thinking, obviously not knowing that those were her last hours or moments together or alive. What did she do with her last hours? What did we do with our last moments? Did she drink tea? She loves tea. Did she see the ocean? She loves the ocean. Oh, were there flowers in the house? Things like that have nothing to do with what we tend to worry about on a daily basis, about our lives, our careers, our relationships, and what have you. So I realize that often the things that we think matter don't, and all that matters are the moments. So it was a beautiful message that she left me with, really, because I realized it, obviously after she died. And I thought it was so incredible and so life changing. I felt compelled to share it because I really didn't know. I mean, all of us will lose our parents at some point, but you just don't know how you'll go on after a loss, any loss. And that can be a loss of a person, that can be a loss of a job, a loss of relationship, any kind of change and transition in your life. But what I realized is that the most important thing that we have are our moments, and that we get to choose how we will live them. So it was probably the worst moment of my life, losing my mother. But yet I had a choice, and how am I going to continue to live, or how am I going to handle this grief?
Right, right, Elizabeth. So let me try and understand this. Is what is more important for us, moments or life itself? Because do moments define our life, or life defines our moments?
I
Help
would
us
say
understand this.
exactly. I would say the most important is moments because your life is a series of moments and you get to choose how to live them. So based on your mindset and your way of living will add the quality to the moments of your life. But again, life is a series of moments. So I would definitely go for the every moment. How am I going to live this moment, the next moment, the next moment? And that's what I started doing as after this experience and then asking myself, do I want to spend my moments thinking about this problem? Do I want to spend my moments in this relationship? Do I want to spend my moments in this job? Do I want to spend my moments complaining about this? Do I want to spend my moments watching Netflix all day? Sometimes the answer is yes. but even still knowing that you have control over your moments, and it's not to emphasize the scarcity of time. Oh, I only have so many moments left, so let me do this. More the immensity of time and resources that we have to be able to shape our moments and to live a fulfilling life.
Right, right. So, how should we? A lot of people will say that let's live in the moment, be in the moment. You drink and you drink too much. Is that being in the moment? Be in wrong company. Do not see the future. Be in the moment. Is that the moment that we are we talking about? People
Yeah,
talk
well,
about fear of
definitely.
fear of missing out. Is that the moment
Well,
that you talk?
no, I would go
Tell
away
us
from
about
the
it.
fear of missing out for sure. No, we don't want to bring fear into our moments. But I think that this message, that's one thing I found so interesting. It's so profound, yet at the same time so simple. So what I'm doing with the book is intending to redefine the word moments from a point in time into a tool that you can use to enhance your life. And yes, we have heard carpe diem, live in the moment, from many thought leaders and teachers. And this is just a new way to look at it. So I have heard that. I have tried to live in the moment many times in the past, but I do feel that this was the most profound message because I found a way to do it very practical into my everyday life. So the rest of the book are inspirational quotes. On one side of the page is the quote, on the opposite side is the explanation of that quote using the word moments to be able to show us how quick and easy it is to bring these principles into our everyday moments. Because sometimes we think with all the practices that we learn, whether it's meditation, psychology, coaching courses, oh no, it's a lot of like going to the gym. Oh no, it's a lot of work. But in this case, I'm trying to show that it is very easy and practical, and we can empower our lives one moment at a time.
One moment at a time. But then there is this whole thing about choice. How do we calibrate the power of choice that we have and also the power of choosing our moments if we can? Help us understand. Is it that easy? Is it very difficult? How did you do it for yourself? You also took your own time to understand about moments.
Yes, exactly. Well, I would say that choice is the starring role here in this story because I do believe that our lives we choose how we will live our lives every day whether we realize it or not, from big choices to small choices of what am I going to have for breakfast? Am I going to the gym today? Will I go outside? Do I want to work? How will I interact with the people around me? So sometimes they're unconscious choices, but they are still choices. So in for the good and for the bad. So again, in a situation where you experience loss, I had a choice in will I live the rest of my life sad and in grief and unhappy, or do I choose to make this a catalyst on how I will live the rest of my life? And I made the choice to be okay, and it was not easy at all. Of course I was, and with this situation, and it can be applied to any other, like I was saying, a loss or a change of a job, a relationship, moving, whatever. There's so many issues in our lives where we have to make choices on how to react and respond. So I made the choice of I am going to be happy. I am going to live well, and I'm going to keep choosing it every day, no matter how sad I feel, no matter how hard it is. And especially with grief, I look at grief now like boiling water. You know, boiling water is turbulent, it's uncomfortable, it will burn you. And if you choose to keep pouring more water in, the water will continue to boil. If you let it go, if you choose to let it go, it turns into steam. And that is so much easier to carry with you than this turbulent boiling water into your life. So it's not always easy. I'm not saying that it's very, very easy, but you do have the choice and the power to do it, to empower yourselves by making these choices every day.
Right. You have worked with, Olympic uh, athletes and all these people. And I want to understand that they run in that moment, they do things for the moment. But if that moment is not as per their desires, as per the outcome that they dreamt all through their lives, what do they do with that moment? Should they live that moment? Should they forget that moment and live the life that is there? How do you create more moments beyond the moments that you would never want in your life? How do you do that?
Exactly. Well, let's talk about athletes for a second. I think they are quite amazing in teaching us on how to focus and how to handle. Obviously, not all of them do this very well, but how to handle the winning and how to handle the losing. And I would say, and I'm not speaking about figure skating now, where I was working, but if you look at current sports now, I'm living in Spain. Rafa Nadal, who is the champion tennis player, has really shown us very gracefully what it is like to be both a winner and a loser. So, but what I would say for the athletes that I've worked with is that they work very, very hard towards their goal. And it, just like in a tennis game or a competition, a figure skating competition, it's a few moments. And your career that year is defined by and can be for the future, is defined by those moments. So they do prepare for them, and we hope that they, with all the training and everything, that they're able to execute it as well as they had hoped. But if the moments don't go well for them, it's another choice on how to handle that. And if you are an athlete who is visible to the public, it's not only a choice, but you're setting an example. And that's why I think Rafa Nadal is one of the best examples that we have in sports history, of somebody who is able to handle that when he doesn't do well, and handle it with grace, and very humble when he does win. So, but all of it is a choice. How am I going to handle that? It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. It doesn't mean that you don't have frustration, and it doesn't mean that you can't act out this frustration. It's extremely important for us to process all of the emotions that we have. It is just, how long are you going to stay there? And we all have. They say it takes 90 seconds to process emotion. I sometimes need longer than the 90 seconds. I can tell you that. But after that, it's how much longer are you going to continue. One of the quotes in the book is, "We are the story we tell," and that is also to show people that you have to choose what you are saying out loud, and choose what you're thinking about and talking about, because you will become it.
Absolutely. So let's understand it this way. A lot of people in today's time are, for whatever reason, financial reasons, for the way they are stuck in things, they are in survival mode. How do they then live in the moment and not think about life itself? How does it work for them that they can build moments which they want, that can build into a better life rather than always be in survival mode? Any tips here?
Yes, I definitely some tips here. The first thing is languaging. I would change the word survival mode, because we're here to thrive, not to just survive. So, and if you're thinking every day, I'm just surviving, you're setting up your mind, body, spirit, and energy to be in that tense survival mode, not the thriving mode. So, and words are extremely powerful. They carry a lot of energy. So, I would start definitely with that in changing your languaging, and look and ask yourself, what are some choices that I could make to take myself out of survival mode into thrive? And now I realize between survive and thrive, there is a spectrum here. So it would be small steps that they could take to get out of the survival mode and start living.
Right, right, Elizabeth. So I want to understand then about the book. And first question is that when was that moment that you thought of the book? Obviously, was it only about your mom? As we talked, it cannot be just that, though that thing does not go away. But was it earlier, or was it only when that moment came when it was about your mom?
Well, I've always loved quotes. The book has 80 quotes and 80 explanations or 80 insights to each quote. I've always loved quotes because they are very, by nature, they're meant to be impactful and they help you to remember things. So throughout my studies, I was always making up different quotes so I would remember better, or quotes for myself to live by. So I had a collection of quotes, not 80, but I did have a collection that I was using quite often. And as I describe in the book, the night before my mom's funeral, I went to go see her in the funeral home. And it was in that moment when I looked at her, I got the download of that. Often the things we think matter don't, and all that matters are the moments. And that life is a series of moments and we get to choose how to live them. So I say in the book, and it's true, I leaned in, I touched her face, and I was like, I got it. So I will use this to go on and live a happy life. And then the idea, how can I spread this message? I wanted everybody to know what I knew and not to have to go through something sad, difficult, challenging to get there. So the idea for the book came a little bit later.
Absolutely, absolutely. Parents try to tell their children about their own experience, about their understanding of life. Sometimes we understand, many a times we do not understand. We understand life the way life wants us to understand.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and then we really understand the meaning of what your parents, if we are lucky, they are there. If we are not, we understand the meaning of. In your case, what do you think your mom would think or be when if she saw your book and looked at all the quotes?
Oh, she would love it. I'm sure she would love it. I mean, she was an avid reader, so she read a lot. So the idea of me being an author would be very exciting for her. And I think she would like all the quotes. I saved the best one for last, which was hers, that she used to always say since we were, I have a brother and sister, since we were little kids, think happy thoughts. And no matter what the problem was that you came to her with, it was always, oh, honey, think happy thoughts, think happy thoughts. And so I realized later she was my very first law of attraction teacher without even knowing it. So I did save that quote for the last. I'm sure she would laugh if she would see it and realize, because I used to say, I can't just think happy thoughts. This happened. So I think she would really like that for sure.
Absolutely. As the saying goes, save the best for last. Be that as it may,
Exactly.
I want to understand then, who is this book for? Is it for everyone, or is it for only those people who want to save the best for life? And if everyone wants to save the best for last, what about the moments? When do you have your best moments? The first time, or you have it at the later stage?
Exactly. I would say that the book really is for everyone. There's a little bit of something for everybody in there. Anybody who has suffered a loss, whether it's a parent or another family member, friend, what have you, I think they may feel accompanied by the story that the book starts out with, because it's a short story before we get into the quotes. I think they would feel accompanied in that loss feeling, the shock, the grief, what your physical body goes through when you lose somebody. and then hopefully resonate with the insight about how to continue life and cherishing the moments. I say it's for everybody because you don't necessarily have to go through loss, although we all go through change and transition throughout our lives. Anybody that is interested in personal development, and that can be professional development or personal development, spiritual development. I see it for business leaders as well as those who are, who may or may not be seeking coaching. But I say everyday life because we hit all topics inside. So it really can be applied for everyone, men, women, and pretty much at any age. I originally was thinking that it was for people maybe 35, 40 and over, until younger students were really enjoying the book, and I was getting feedback from high school and college students. So I guess it really is for everyone.
Absolutely. There's much to learn about life, about moments, and all these things from you, Elizabeth. And I'm sure a lot of people would want to connect with you about the book, about the moments, about everything about life. So, what's the best way for them to do so?
Well, I'm on Instagram at choose.your.moments.book, as well as my website, which is chooseyourmoments.net.
Wonderful. Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.